Let's take a look at how to handle half-life problems. And I'm going to show you two different ways that you can do this. One with a chart method and the other with an equation. But either method that you choose, there is one equation you have to know, and that's this one here that you see at the bottom of the screen. And that's n equals t over t 1/2, where n is the number of half-lives. How many half-lives have you gone through in a given amount of time? T is the time that has elapsed in some unit of time, like seconds, minutes, hours, days, etc. And t 1/2 is the half-life for that particular atom. And that could be in some unit of time as well, seconds, minutes, hours, days, etc. You just want to make sure that t, the total time, and t 1/2, the half-life, are in the same units of time, so that when you divide them, the units cancel, and you're left with a whole number, which is how many half-lives you've gone through. If you remember, half-life is the time it takes for half of that substance to decay. So let's take a look at an example to see how we can apply this. So let's look at this first problem. Iodine 131 is used to destroy thyroid tissue in the treatment of an overactive thyroid. The half-life is 8 days. If a hospital receives a shipment of 200 grams of iodine 131, how much would remain after 32 days? It's always best to approach these problems by first trying to find n, the number of half-lives. And if you remember, we said you can find n by doing t, the total time that has elapsed, over t 1/2, which is the half-life. If I go into this problem, it tells me the half-life is 8 days, and it tells me that the total time that has elapsed is 32 days. So if I plug in 32 days for my time, and if I plug in 8 days for my half-life, I can find out how many half-lives I've gone through. And I should get 4. It makes sense. Every 8 days would consist of a half-life, and in 32 days, I would have gone through 4 of them. This is where you want to start the problem, finding n. From here, you can do the rest in one of two ways. And I'm only going to be looking at problems that have a whole number half-life to do this chart method. So I'm first going to show you the chart method. The chart method is, once you find n, is to do a chart of n versus the amount that you would have at that number of half-lives. So I'm just going to do n and amount. And your n, you're going to list starting at 0, which should be corresponding to your initial, and you're going to number it all the way up to the n that you found. In this case, I'm going to number it 0 through 4 because I found n to equal 4. If n was 5, I would do 0 through 5, so on and so forth. Okay, then I'm going to go back and examine my question. Okay. If they give me any information about the original amount, I'm going to put that at the 0 place, because that would mean that no half-lives have gone through, and that's the original amount. If they give me any information about what remains or is left, that is going to go at my last row, corresponding to after that many half-lives have elapsed. So original would be at the top, remains or left would be at the bottom. So let's examine what the problem gives me. They tell me the hospital receives a shipment of 200 grams. And then they ask me how much would remain. So I'm trying to find what remains, and they give me the original or starting amount. So I'm going to put that 200 grams at the 0 place. And as I work my way down the chart, you're going to end up dividing by 2 each time you go down a row, because essentially you're going through a half-life each time you go down a row. So for instance, from 200 down in this next slot, I'm going to have gone through 1 half-life. If I start with 200 grams, how much would I have left if I've gone through 1 half-life? Well, I would have left 100 grams. Why? Because half of it would have decayed. After another half-life, how much would I have left? I would have 50 grams left. Essentially, I would be dividing by 2 again. After 3 half-lives, how much would I have left? I'd have 25. I'd divide by 2 again. And after 4 half-lives, how much would I have left? I'd have left 12.5 grams, which is where I stopped, since in this problem, I'd asked after 4 half-lives. So that's my final answer. 12.5 grams would remain. So anytime I'm working my way down the chart, I'm dividing by 2. If I were to give you the amount that remains and you started at the bottom of the chart, you could work your way back up by multiplying by 2 until you got to the original. So that's how you use the chart method. Again, you want to label n on the left-hand side, 0 up to the number of half-lives for that problem. And depending on what they give you in the problem, you're either putting in an original amount and working your way down, dividing by 2 each time, or they might give you the amount that remains and you work your way up multiplying by 2 till you get to the original amount. The other way we could do this is using another equation in place of this chart, which is actually a little bit more universal because it works for n that is not a whole number. So if I go back down to where I wrote equations, the other equation that you can use, you'll see on the right-hand side. A at t is just the amount at the time that remains. So after a certain amount of time that goes by, that's the remaining amount. So this is what remains. Okay, and A0, it tells me, is the initial amount, or the amount that's at time 0, and that's why it's written as A0, the amount at time 0, times 1/2 to the n power, where if you remember, n is the number of half-lives. It's a really simple equation to use if you know it, but you don't have to do it this way if you know the chart method. The only limitation of the chart method is it will not work for n's that are not whole numbers. So let's just go back up to our original problem and see how we can use the equation method instead. So I said the equation method is plugging into AT equals A0 1/2 to the n. So all I'm doing is I'm plugging in what I know. AT is the amount remaining. I'm not sure of that. That's what I'm solving for. A0 is the original amount, which was 200 grams. And I'm going to multiply that by 1/2 to the n power, which ends up being 1/2 to the 4. So in my calculator, I'm doing 1/2 to the 4th power times 200, and I should get the same answer that I did before. 12.5 grams are remaining. So that's a really easy equation to use as long as you know it and you feel comfortable using it, or you can do it more logically, which I showed with the chart method. Let's look at another example. Let's look at this example number 5. After 25.5 minutes, 3 grams of a sample of copper 66 remains. How much was in the original sample? The half-life is 5.10 minutes. They give me a time, they give me a half-life. Remember I said that it helps to start by finding n, the number of half-lives. We can do that by doing n equals t over t 1/2, where t is the time, in this case 25.5 minutes, and t 1/2 is the half-life, in this case 5.10 minutes. Notice they're in minutes, the same time unit. And if I divide 25.5 by 5.10, I get that n is 5. That's how many half-lives I've gone through in this time frame. I can do the rest with the chart or with the equation, and I'll show both ways. With the chart, I'm going to do n versus the amount. I'm going to start n always at 0 and go up to 5 in this case, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for the amounts, let's see what they give me in the problem. They give me that 3 grams remains. So that 3 grams is going to go at the bottom of the chart. And I'm going to end up working my way up the chart. Remember, if I said working my way up, I'm going to be multiplying by 2 each time. If I were working my way down, I'd be dividing by 2. They asked me for the original sample's mass. So I'm trying to work my way up to that 0 part. So if I work my way up, I'm multiplying by 2 each time. So 3 times 2 gives me 6 at the 4th half-life. Work my way up again, times 2 again, and I get 12. Times 2 again, and I get 24. Times 2 again, and I get 48. And we'll do it one more time, and I get 96 grams. That is my answer for this problem. Instead of doing it with the chart after I find n, I could have done it by finding A0 in the equation that looks like this, because A0 corresponds to the initial amount. So in this case, I would be putting the 3 grams that remains on the left-hand side. I'm solving for A0, and I know 1/2 goes to the 5th. So in my calculator, I'd be doing 3 divided by 1/2 to the 5th power, and I can solve for A0. And when I do so, I should get the same answer. I should get 96 grams. So looking at this problem, I started with finding n the number of half-lives, and then I either went to the chart method or I did the second equation, and I can find the initial or original mass. A last type of example would ask for the half-life. So if I look at number 2, it tells me after 42 days, a 2-gram sample of phosphorus 32 contains only 0.25 grams of the isotope. What is the half-life? In this situation, they will give me 2 masses. They give me the initial mass, where I start with, they're the original, and they tell me how much remains. I would need both of these masses in order to find this. In this situation, again, there's one of 2 ways I can do this. I can find n, the number of half-lives, either by the chart method or with an equation, and I'll show both. So if I'm doing the chart method, I don't know what to initially make n go up to, but I can still write n versus the amount. I know that n is still going to start at 0, and I can put the initial amount in the problem. It tells me initially I have a 2-gram sample. Okay, so I'm going to put 2 grams with the 0. And I know that I'm going to work my way down until only 0.25 grams remain. So I'm going to keep going through the chart row by row until I get to 0.25, and then I'm going to stop. So after 1 half-life, remember when I'm working my way down the chart, I'm going to be dividing by 2, because after every half-life I'd have half of it left. I'd have 1 gram left. Okay, after 2 half-lives, I'd have 0.5 grams left. And after 3 half-lives, I'd have half of that, 0.25 grams. And then I would stop. Stop there because it mentions in the problem that I end at 0.25 grams. So from this chart method, I see that I have gone through 3 half-lives. Now, that's not what the question asked me for. It asked me what is the half-life. So from there, I can now plug into that n equals t over t 1/2 equation, because I have everything but the half-life. I know that n is 3. That's what I just found from my chart. I know that the total time, if I go back to the problem, is 42 days. So that's going to go up here, 42 days. And I can solve for t 1/2, which will be solved for in days. If I rearrange this, it's the same as doing t 1/2 equals 42 days divided by 3, which makes sense. Essentially, I know I have elapsed through 3 half-lives within 42 days. How much would each half-life have to be? Each half-life would have to be 14 days. And I can find the half-life in this way. Instead of starting with the chart, I could have started with an equation instead. So alternately, I could have started with that AT equals A0 1/2 to the n power equation. And I know AT, that's the amount that remains, 0.25. I know A0, that's the initial amount, it told me 2. 1/2 stays the same. And I'm not sure of n the half-life, but I can solve for it. If I do 0.25 divided by 2 in my calculator, I get 0.125 equals 1/2 to the n power. It might be helpful to kind of turn that into a fraction. You can do that right in your calculator if you want. 0.125 is the same as 1/8. So 1/8 equals 1/2 to the n power, meaning 1/2 has to be to what power would give me 1/8? Oh, n would have to be 3. 1/2 to the third power would give me 1/8, or 2 to the third power would give me 8. So this way, I could use that equation to find n. If you wanted to, you could use logs or natural logs to isolate that exponent a little bit further, but I'm not going to get into that in case you haven't gotten to that in math yet. But in this case, now I find the number of half-lives, and I can just then go and use that n equals t over t 1/2 equation like I just did before. So it's a different starting way for each of these methods. Either I started with the chart or I started with the equation in this case if I'm solving for half-life, and I'm ending with the n equals t over t 1/2 equation. So in summary, you can use either the chart or the equation method to get your half-life n, your number of half-lives, and then plug into n equals t over t 1/2 if you're solving for the half-life. Or, as I had said before, a lot of problems you're solving for one of the amounts. You would start with that n equals t over t 1/2 equation, like in A here, and then you would either go to the chart or you would go to the equation after that. If you're navigating the chart, anything having to do with the original is at the top, and anything having to do with what remains is at the bottom. And if you're using the equation, that AT is the amount that remains, and that A0 is the initial or original amount.